Welcome everyone to the International Growth Program Bootcamp for LeadGen. My name is Ines Buresti. I lead together with Matt Herrick, the International Growth Agency program, of which your agency is a part of. You're in store for an insightful hour designed for the sole purpose of enabling your brand to expand into EMEA. We'll be focused specifically on how to effectively go to market and drive bottom line growth in the UK, Germany, and France. Our intention is that you'll walk away from this hour feeling inspired and ready to unlock new opportunities while discussing localization, customer service, site experience, and payments. We're going to show you some net new insights that you can action against immediately to further growth and success in markets outside of the US and Canada. You will be able to leave this bootcamp with a real-time assessment of areas of optimization for your business. And finally, we hope you will be able to integrate these insights and learnings into your marketing and operational roadmap. With our intention set, let's quickly walk through the agenda. We'll start with some data that speaks to the international opportunity outside of the US and Canada for lead generation brands. Then I'll pass it over to Celine. She's our international growth scale solution lead at Google. She will give you a brief walkthrough of the scorecard you received in your email when you confirm your attendance. This is an interactive element of the session today. You can grade yourself in some of the operational areas we'll be covering. Then Celine will take a deep dive across 3 major markets in EMEA, UK, France, and Germany, and we'll share some insights and best practices for how to better localize in those markets and optimal CX and path to purchase, and any international payments considerations you should be incorporating in the e-com portion of your website. And then we'll finish with some quick wins and next steps. So let's look at the data that shows us the opportunity that exists outside of North America. Let's start with total search queries across all categories. If I were to break those by domestic and international, and domestic being US and Canada, what percentage of total search volume across all of Google do you think would be from international markets? Yes, what you're seeing is correct. Over 80% of all search queries we have here at Google so far in 2021 come from outside of the US and Canada. And let's keep the questions going. I promise there's not going to be a quiz at the end of the session. How about clicks outside of North America? Do you think it's much of the same, or is it here where US and Canada start to win some advantage? Well, if you guess much of the same, you are correct. Almost 80% of all clicks at Google come from international markets. And finally, one more, if we focus on growth rates. If I were to ask you, what the search volume annual growth rate was for these international markets, what would you say? More than the US and Canada, less, double, triple? Let's take a guess. The search volume in international markets across all categories, it's about double that of North America in 2021. So if we start to distill down even further, you may ask yourself, well, I am a US or a Canadian-based business, so what can I expect when I advertise outside of my domestic market? And I made you guess a little bit, quite a bit in the last slide, so I'll just give it to you. 34% of all clicks from US and Canadian businesses are coming from outside of North America. So over 1/3 of interactions on average are going to come from potential international customers. So we are here together with your agency to help you analyze, plan, and integrate the best practices to capture that demand and continue in your international journey. And today we're focusing in UK, France, and Germany. And why is that? From our experience, these 3 major markets in EMEA are a common first destination for businesses looking to expand in this region. If we look at the data and get a little bit more specific, 80% of all B2B search queries are coming from outside of the US and Canada. And of that 80%, a little less than a quarter comes from these 3 markets. And what is more, your competitors are likely in these markets already. As we see, 20% of all international B2B dollars invested within Google Ads are invested in Germany, France, and the UK. And now we know the international opportunity is massive if you choose to leverage Google marketing products. But what about your business specifically? What does an international approach can do for your business in a more general sense? First, international can drive incremental volume and traffic to your website, allowing for new potential customers and leads. Think about this for a second. Almost 1 million new internet users are coming online daily in markets that Google has categorized as the next billion user initiative, such as Brazil or India. And second, international can potentially drive higher profitability for your marketing investment, and as some international markets can have less competition, which gives you the opportunity to create higher ROIs as you can expand your global footprint. So at this point, we now fully comprehend why international market strategies are appealing from a business health, growth, and demand perspective. Now I'm going to pass it over to Celine to dive into the specific operational aspects as we promised to cover today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ines. I'm very happy to be here today. I want to give you a bit more information about our operational team as we actually look into and work across 4 main pillars. We work around localization, customer experience, payment, and logistics. Obviously, today we won't be covering any logistic insights as we're covering more recommendation for LeadGen businesses. And the goal of today is really to understand differences in customer expectation as you grow into different markets and localize your approach to serve those customers even better. As mentioned earlier, you've received a scorecard before joining this event. So what I will ask you right now is to actually open the scorecard and your website. So if you do have a website in one of the local markets that we are covering today, which is a French website, a German site, or a site for your UK customers, I would advise to open those websites together with the scorecard, as you will need them as we walk through the content. I'll just give you a few seconds to do that, and then we can get started. Great, so let's deep dive into our scoring concept in order to understand better how ready you are in localizing your sites for European markets. Today, we'll be going through 5 main steps that we have identified as the most important for your LeadGen customers. The first one will be about the localization and the quality of the translation of your website. The second one will be on the landing page experience and navigation. The third one will be about customer support effectiveness. The fourth one will be about your FAQ and self-service information. And the last one will be about your lead form submission and payment methods. So let's get started and make sure that you have your website open and the scorecard open as well. And we'll get started first with localization best practices. So as you can see here, French and German speakers have a lot of spending power. Despite this, businesses don't put as much diligence in localizing websites into German or in French as they do with other languages. Languages with lower eGDPs have more sites offered in native languages. So what we recommend here, as we work with a lot of customers interested in moving into European markets, such as Germany and France, is actually to look at localizing your site in the local languages. We do know that a lot of customers, especially for B2B, can navigate in English, but having your website localized in the local languages will definitely increase your conversion rates. Different markets actually have different level of English proficiency. So out of the 3 markets that we're covering today, definitely I will not cover the UK, but between Germany and France, German customers will have a higher proficiency in English than French customers. And they will also have less queries in German versus in French for French speaker. So if you're looking at those 2 markets, specifically in Europe, you might want to prioritize the French market in terms of translation, and then Germany second. So you will see that for both French and German customer, they would actually prefer to have the experience localized in their own language. So that's definitely what we recommend. Having said that, we also know that this requires a high investment. So localizing what matters the most first is what's the most important. For example, your pricing table, your FAQ page, or even like a local chat option so that customer can reach out in their own language. The last one is good, but not perfect. So even if the translation is not perfect, we would still recommend translating the content into local languages so that you can see a higher conversion rate versus having the whole experience in English. So at Google, we work with a lot of partners that can help with translation and localization strategy. You can actually find them into our Google Partner Hub and start from there. So think prioritization and good, but not perfect. So very similar to German sites, we recommend prioritizing what matters for your French website and translating even if it's not perfect. I often get questioned around, should I still advertise in English? Should I still advertise in the local language if my website is in English? So we would actually prioritize advertising in local language if the site is localized. And then if the market opportunity is big enough, you can also advertise in English. Another question that we often get, especially for B2B software companies, it's whether the software is actually not translated in local language. So most of the time the software is still in English. So should I still advertise and expand globally? Should I only target English speakers? Is that okay if the website is translated but not the software? So our recommendation would be yes, you should still expand and translate other content beyond English. Most software users are used to using non-localized UIs, but localization is a differentiator in the purchase process. And what we've seen is software buyers have noted 4 key areas they look to be localized when deciding on what tech to buy. And those are admin, documentation, support, business practices, and UI. So localizing your site is what we would recommend for your software companies. So it's now time to look at your own website and look at the localization of it. So a few indicators here. So again, have your scorecard open, have your website open, and a few things that you have to look into your site. So do you have clear customer market drivers on your homepage and product page? And are those localized? Are they different by market depending on what matters the most there? Is the first one. Do you have local payment logos and local customer reviews? So we'll deep dive a little bit more into payment later during the presentation. And I know for some of you, this might be less relevant as you might not have an e-commerce payment on your site. But if you do, then we highly recommend having those payment logos available on the homepage, as well as sharing some local customer reviews on your homepage. Do you have an easy access to local customer support? Is the third one. And then lastly, is your page translated and is your product actually translated? So I might give you 1 minute so that you have time to go through your site and go through the scorecard, and then we'll get back. so moving into the landing page experience. So what we did here is that we compared the 3 markets that we are looking at today so that you can see the differences in each market. So the UK will be in blue, France will be in red, and Germany will be in yellow. Building your brand outside of your home market is very important, as customers in the new market might not know your brand. And so there's a few things here that you can make sure that you highlight in order for the customer experience to be localized. For the 3 markets, what we are saying is that it's important to highlight a clear privacy policy. In Europe, in general, data privacy is a top concern for customers. So any ways to highlight data privacy throughout the customer journey will be crucial in European markets. There are logos, for example, that you can add, such as trusted badges, and I'll go through more details later in the presentation too. The second one I wanted to highlight is customer reviews. So you might have your own customer reviews from your local sites already. But however, if you don't have that, what we've seen working best for a lot of our customers is to actually integrate third-party customer reviews into your site. For example, G2 or Trustpilot reviews are great to include and insert into your UI. Make sure they're localized and come from the market that you're targeting. It will be much easier for customers to relate and reach out to you. If you're looking at Germany, you can, for example, highlight testimonial from German customers, or you could also highlight German companies that you work with on your homepage. A bit more data here as we move into the funnel. So here, just wanted to show how those markets differ one to another. In the UK and in Germany, B2B customer would prefer actually to self-educate on your site before reaching out when they are in the research phase. So you have to make sure that your FAQ page is up to date and localized as well, as they will be looking for the information there. French customer, on the other end, will try to reach out directly to you in order to find the answers. So making sure that you have a clear path to customer support and local agent answering in local language is very important for the French market. Moving into the buying funnel. So as the buyer, consider your product and services. UK customers have a stronger preference for product trials, where in Germany or France, customer would rather actually talk to someone in your team, maybe through email, chat, or even reaching out through a call. So it's very important to understand your customer and how they want to be supported. So A/B testing different call to action is a great way to discover customer preference in each market. So moving into looking at when friction points happen during the customer journey and how they differ from one market to another. So here I've added also Italy and Spain so that we can compare across Europe and you have more data points. So we're looking at when do customers reach out for information. Is it more before the sign up, during the sign up, or after the sign up? What I would recommend as well is identify the top question you're getting at each stage by market. This way, you'll be able to build a strong FAQ page, which will be very beneficial for Germany, the UK, and actually many other markets. So yeah, just taking your top question you're getting in each market and seeing when customers are reaching out so that you can best answer their question and increase the number of signups on your site. In France and the UK, most of the friction points actually happen after sign up. So they might be more likely to sign up for the free trial, for example, but require more support after the sign up. For Germany, they're looking at finding the right information during the sign up process. So it might take longer for them to actually sign up, but you might see a higher conversion rate. So when we look at customer going into the purchase funnel, it's actually similar across the 3 markets. We're talking to a sales rep through call, chat, email is dominating. So having that option on your site, including a chatbot a chat option or an easy way for customers to go through your help center or reach out to someone from your team is very important, as they're really considering either buying your product or signing up for, again, a free trial or demo. So here are a few tips and tricks about the German customer specifically. So first, Germans seek for details. So we mentioned that a few times already, but before they enter the sign-up process, they want to know what's the free trial about, for example. They want to know what will be the live demo. What do they get there? What do they need to enter as information? So you really need to clearly highlight what will be the next step after they sign up for your product or services. So actually 43% of the user queries will happen before they actually sign up. So make sure you highlight easy cancellation, for example, if this is relevant to your business, of course. Data privacy, as it can really trigger more conversion for your business. So making sure that it's very clear and you've highlighted all the information needed for someone to sign up for your service or software. The second one is about 60% of German customers have shared that personalization is one of the most important factors for them. So we'll see through the lead form, for example, how you can personalize the experience for the client. And personalization really encompasses more than just leveraging personal data. So offering a site search function, a rate calculator, sorry, a self-selected dynamic tools. For example, the user enter relevant information like the company size, the tech needs, and sees a tailored plan options are also very powerful and tech B2B relevant personalization tactics. Also, deep personalization can occur once the user sign up or purchase the service, so that they're buying into the personalized experience. Opt-in can be your best friend in this case, where users can self-select how personalized they want the experience to be. Clear expectation setting is also super important. If you're requesting personal information, you have to explain what value you'll offer for customers in return. The third one is about the credibility of your business. So German customers really care about the credibility of your business. So any social proof that you can add on your site, we'll spend more time on social proof, but for example, awards, certifications, security badges, we would highly recommend adding that into your homepage so that it's reinforcing the trust for customers to buy into your product. Similarly, if you have an e-commerce functionality so people can buy your product or service on the site, make sure that you highlight what are the payment options for them from the homepage. And lastly, Germans really care about comparing prices. So what we see with a lot of B2B companies targeting Germany, sometimes they actually include the pricing tab into their landing page. So having that information available on the homepage help them stay and convert more. So that can be something to test and try. Instead of having the pricing tab under another tab, then making sure that it's available from the homepage and very clear is important for German customers really seeking for details. So I mentioned social proof. So logos are a great way to add, like it's a great to add, on your site. So companies that you work with in the market, local testimonials as well. Another good one is the number of people that are using your services and products. Always remember that you're operating in an international market, so it's not your domestic market. They might not know about your product and services. So just reinforcing the fact that lots of people are using it across the world can really help convert more clients for you. And then again, adding any certification, ratings, awards, especially for B2B, is very important on your site. Looking at the call to action, so we actually recommend, making sure that you highlight your top call to action, both on desktop and mobile. What we see a lot with B2B customer is that the desktop experience is actually different from the mobile experience. So making sure that across screens, you're actually highlighting the same call to action, and then at all times. So even if someone is scrolling down, you want to make sure that you have this free trial or live demo option available. Again, yeah, try using different call to action in different markets as well, and A/B test them to see which one works the best for your advertising campaign and even just for your conversion on site, and make sure it resonates with local customer. Maybe something to try is to look at your top 5 customers in the market, ideally local competitors, sorry, not customers, and check if the call to action, which call to action they have, and just see whether you're aligned with the best practices in this market. For the call to action specifically as well, you can use encapsulation, so making sure that it's very visible for customer, and also using color contrast so that you can, like, just to make sure that the call to action stands out for your customers. So again, here a lot of A/B testing. Colors can differ by market as well. Red in China, for example. So you want to make sure that you're using the right color codes and that it's adapted for the market you're targeting. So here are a few other recommendations, CX recommendation that we will ask you to consider. First one, chatbots, especially with COVID and the last year and a half that we've had. Chatbots have become really, really popular, where people want to have the answer right away and they want to have it through a chat. So considering adding that on your page is what we recommend. If not possible on the entire site, at least trying to have this on the pricing page and your FAQ page would be top of mind. So social proof, we've actually covered that already with adding testimonial, reviews, logos, anything that can reinforce the fact that you're a trusted company in this new market. Private and secure forms. So we've mentioned before that in European markets, they are very, very concerned about data privacy. So making sure that you highlight that the form is secure, the transaction, if any, is secure on your site is actually very important. And if you're collecting data, why are you collecting data? It's very important in those markets. Adding videos on your site as well will increase user engagement and drive conversion. So actually B2B clients that have added video tutorials on their homepage, on their site, have seen an increase of more than 70% in conversion. So video is definitely a great way for B2B companies to explain their product and services. Customer support, meaning having a localized customer support option. So making sure if you operate in different markets, you do have different options to reach out to support, and it's very visible. And if one is not available in a market, let's say you have a chatbot, but it's only available for your US customer, make sure it doesn't appear on the other, like maybe European customer that'll get frustrated that they cannot reach out to your support because it's nighttime in the US, for example. Lastly, and overall, just developing an international strategy, including localized campaigns, site content, payment option. Again, we'll spend more time on this later. So again, let's take some time. It's a lot of information for you to assess your own website using the scorecard. So a few things here that you can look at on top of everything that we've mentioned. So your call to action is actually descriptive. You have a call to action above the fold, so on top of your site, and it's staying as someone is scrolling down. You have a mobile-friendly experience. Your value proposition is clear, and again, above the fold. You have live support for your visitors. Your site is easy to navigate across desktop and mobile. You have testimonial on the landing page. You have the number of users, customers showcased on your landing page or any other social proof that we mentioned today. And you have user ratings showcased on the landing page. So again, I'll give you 1 minute so that you can assess your business, and then we'll get back here. So let's continue and talk more about customer support. So what we recommend is really to have a consistent experience across all platforms. So as we mentioned previously, making sure that your the experience that the customer has on desktop and, for example, in-app or even just on mobile, your mobile site is similar is very important. And again, that your call to action stays at all time because that's what you're trying to push your customer to do. Make sure that the help center is easy to use. So we always recommend having a search bar on your help center, and then highlighting top categories as well, or top FAQs that customers have been asking. You want to make sure, let's say someone is looking for your cancellation policy, that they're able to find it quickly and have the right information for the right market as well. You need to make sure your help center is localized. Like, you wouldn't want to have information about, again, the policies for US customers if they differ from the policy for your German customers. If the client is logging in from Germany, they only want to see the policies for German customers. So integrate FAQ content with known user issues. So I mentioned briefly before as well, like, try to start gathering all the questions that you're getting from a specific market. Let's say it could be about taxes in the UK more than any other country. Germany can be about cancellation policy. So try to already get like a sense of what are the top FAQs and build your help center page around those localized concerns from the user. And then make sure that it's very easy for them to reach out to support. So you might have an icon that drives them directly to the help center, or you might have a form directly on the help center. But it has to be easy for the customer to actually reach out to support. Try to get personal as well, in a way where you could add like a bar for the user to actually communicate the issue in their own word, and use machine learning actually to indicate a few options for them once they have described their issue, as well as showing them some articles or any information that you have from your help center that could actually directly answer the question. What we've seen before, that's something that would resonate very well with your German customers, as they love personalization and also self-service information. Integrate a contact form in the self-help support as well, so that it's very easy for them to choose how to reach out to you. Each market will have a different way and preferred method of contacting your support. So if the phone is very popular in France, email and contact form might be more popular in the UK and Germany. So just highlight the one that are most relevant for the market and the one that you can support, obviously. And then finally, collecting feedback from your customers as well through simple questions. A feedback form is very helpful and will help you always improve the experience for them over time. Great, so I'll give you another minute to go through your FAQ. So open up your FAQ page or your help center page, and let's go through some of the recommendations. So do you have a dedicated FAQ section? Do you have a search bar in your FAQ section for easy navigation? Do you have top question highlighted at the top? Do you have the content grouped into logical sections? We actually recommend even having pictograms for those. But yeah, is it grouped in different sections? Your customer can easily escalate to a support channel, so is it easy for them to find where to escalate and reach out? Do you offer chat support, phone support, email support? Do you offer a dynamic contact us form support? Do you have a clear response time for email and contact us support? For example, like we'll reply within 24 hours, 48 hours, etc. Do you provide open hours for phone support? And then have you optimized your self-serve and support channels for each stage of the purchase life cycle? Again, I'll give you a minute to go through your FAQ page and see how you score your business. So moving into the lead form submission. So one piece of insight that's important here is actually 63% of customers have shared that having to fill out long forms in order to get more information will make them lose interest and stop researching for your product. So what we are seeing with a lot of companies in the B2B space is that the lead form is actually very long to fill for customer. Like there's a lot of information there. And I would definitely ask all of you to rethink your sign-up process and see whether you actually really need all those information at this stage from your client. So one of the tips that we'll share with you is really trying to reduce the number of fields that you're asking your customer. An easy example is like having full name versus like having first name, last name, just trying to reduce the visual part of your sign-up form, like seeing that it's going to be 3 pages long and then tons of information usually will decrease the likelihood of a client actually signing up for your product or services. So try to remove all optional fields, like try to keep it only to the information you need. Yeah, that's definitely very, very important. Here, different ways of doing this. So what we would recommend is using floating labels. So the one on the right. So it just saves some space versus like label on top. If you look on the left, what we are saying is we're asking the email address of the client, and then we have a box with the email address, like some space for the client to enter the email address. But that takes double space. The second one is not super clear on what needs to be there, but it's still better than the first one. Floating labels kind of have both, where you're trying to indicate. It's very easy for the user to understand what they need to enter there. So the example with the email address, and then there's already an email address there, just so that again, very easy for the customer. Showing a progress bar as well is something that we would recommend, especially as we go into the sign-up form. We mentioned before for actually German, UK, and even French customers, like knowing what's coming after they sign up for your free trial is very important. So again, having this progress bar will really help them understand how quick the sign-up form can be, and then we'll keep more customers longer on your site. For personal information and security in general, like making sure that anywhere you can, you're reinforcing the fact that it's safe and secure. Having like lock logos, trusted badges as well will help, or something like pay securely now if you have like a payment option on your site. Use placeholders as well, whenever you can. So again, it makes it shorter. Autofill is also definitely what we recommend in your sign up, just to make the sign up process even faster. So whenever possible, make sure that you have everything in autofill, so it's easier for customer to offer that. Use inline validations as well, so that it auto detects where if the answer is not the right one from the customer, so it saves time, and then he doesn't have to re-enter all the information again. The zip code is a good one for international information. Let's say you're looking at French customers, so you would need a 5-digit number for a zip code. So that can be different by market as well, and you can indicate whether it's correct or not. Don't use drop-downs as well if you have less than 3 options. So we recommend using drop-down if you do have more than 3 options. Yeah. And on the keypads part, so always use the correct keypads. An example here, again, you're trying to enter a zip code, and then it actually shows the letters versus the numbers. So again, we're just trying to save time for the customer, make it easy and smooth so that they'll sign up for your product and services. And also always use the easiest date input. So if you can, like typing or a calendar that's available, if that resonates and makes sense for your business, of course, will make it faster and easier for them. Great. So now, again, time for you guys to work on your contact form and sign up form. So is the value proposition featured in the conversion funnel? There are no redundant fields in your form. Autofill is enabled. You use it inline validation every time you use the correct keypad as well. Might take a little bit more time to check that, but I would invite you to do that too. You have a progress bar. You don't have any drop down that have more than 3 options. And then data privacy is communicated clearly, and an opt-in is available. I'll give you another minute, and then we'll continue. So lastly, I wanted to spend a little bit of time on payment. I know it might not be as relevant for everyone, as again, you might not have payment on your site, but we'll cover B2B and e-commerce payment option. So where are B2B payments today in Europe? So just wanted to share a bit more insights into the European markets. So the average payment term in European markets is actually 46 days. And then 69% of the B2B merchants have been asked to accept longer payment terms. 60 days actually the average time it takes for customer to pay a B2B invoice. And then lastly, almost 20% of the payments are settled outside of the payment term. So overall, 77% increase in businesses who felt that they needed to offer longer payment terms, especially in 2020. So yeah, just check whether you are answering those expectations for European customers. What we're seeing, though, is more and more B2B businesses are actually offering digital payment on this site, which has been definitely accelerated by the last year and COVID, and then people working from home. So digital payment has increased in the B2B space globally by 6.5%, and actually 5.2% growth in the European market between 2017 and 2020. So I don't know if you have online payment method on your site, but a few things there, if you do have those, again, try to highlight it from your homepage. So if you do accept, let's say, PayPal, even like credit cards, make sure that you have those logos available, especially at the bottom of your page. That's where, like on the footer, that's where we would recommend having those, as well as when they sign up for your product or services. And I'll just go into the 3 different markets for subscription verticals specifically. Might not be as relevant for everyone. But something specific about Germany overall, I would say, is that bank transfer is the preferred method of payments. So in the light of Sofort as a provider, for example, so adding more localized payment method on your site will definitely drive higher conversion in the international market. So making sure that you understand the market you're operating in and which are the preferred method of payment is very important. So once again, for Germany, if you have payment on your site, I would definitely highlight adding bank transfer as an option. For UK, actually, and France, both are very credit card heavy market, I would say. And when we look at digital wallets, PayPal is number 1 by far, and then followed by Apple Pay and Google Pay. Again, French customers will be looking at credit card payment, especially with the Carte Bancaire logo, which is the local credit card scheme, and PayPal being the number 1 e-wallet used in the French market. Best advice is actually to reach out to your payment processor if you offer payment on your site and ask which method of payment they recommend or are able to add for each market. So they're a very important partner of yours, again, if you have payment on your site. So make sure you understand what are the preferred method of payment, what are the best practices in this market, and yeah, offer that to your customers. So a quick check on payment. If you do have payment on your site, do you localize the payment method for each market, or do you only offer the same method of payment across all markets? Did you highlight the method of payment on your homepage? Again, at the bottom on the footer, it's great to have all the logos there. Did you highlight the method of payment on your product page as well, or on the free trial page, for example? So let's say it's free for 7 days and then it's going to be charged to your credit card. Make sure that you have the logos that you accept there. And then you have payment information on my Help Center FAQ page. So as we've seen, a lot of customers in Europe will be looking and seeking for the information themselves. So making sure that you have those information available on the FAQ page and Help Center will be really useful. So yeah, that's it for me. I'll pass it back to Ines, who will be closing the session for today. I really hope those information were helpful and we were able to go through a lot of new information and you were able to assess and score your business accordingly. So thanks so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celine, for those insights. We'll leave you with some key things to remember for each step that we talked today about. And after spending an hour with us, you now have a high-level understanding of the operational components for international. to have a successful lead gen go-to-market strategy. You should have your scorecard populated, which will provide you with your understanding of your brand and your website readiness to enter and optimize UK, Germany, and France. And Google and your agency, we are ready and available to help you activate these markets from a performance and an operational perspective. If you would like to have a professional website audit, let us know. We have limited spots available for a dedicated one-on-one consultation follow-ups that we can supplement today's event. If you would like to secure one of these spots, let your agency know as quick as possible. And together, Google and your agency are here to support your international growth and delight your customers in every corner of the world. We look forward to working with you in the days and the weeks ahead. Thank you.